Hey everybody, happy Thursday night. It's Deb at Cottle & Gun in St. Mary's, Georgia. And tonight we are going to have a little bit of fun with Iron Orchid Design's transfers on top of just raw wood. So I think that a lot of the preconceived notion is that you only put transfers on painted things and painted furniture and everything that could be possibly painted. But it actually looks quite beautiful on top of just regular plain wood. So whether you might have a wood dresser or a china cabinet or an old window or something that has not been painted, I want to show you an easy way that you can just go ahead and put it on to regular wood. So I'm going to wait just a second to make sure everything's working. I'm a little tilted here. And as you hop on, please let me know that you're here so that I can make sure everything's working good. Hope everybody's had a great couple of weeks. It's been 2 weeks since I've been on here because Maddie had her open house last week. And yes, all of us in St. Mary's were in the middle of our first week of school. So it's been an interesting time because it's just a new schedule to get used to as the kids go back to school. So what I want to show you tonight, and we do have a class coming up in September on these amazing bee boards, but these are old bee boards from old beehives, and the wood is just too pretty to cover up. So I did not want to cover them up, but I still wanted to use them as a transfer. So I've already done it on one side. This is something that we did a few weeks ago, and we're going to be doing a class on this as well, where we painted inside of the black transfers with the anti-slone chalk paint. And so I thought, well, I'm going to make this a reversible sign because waste not, want not. And so I'm going to do something tonight on this side. So the first thing that you always want to do when you have just plain wood like this is the transfers love slick surfaces. So they love to go onto slick surfaces. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go ahead and lacquer my board really quick. I'm using anti-slone lacquer, clear matte. I like the matte the best. And I might back up so I can't see your comments, but I want y'all to see me, and I'm probably going to end up standing up. So we're just going to give the lacquer a quick stir. I do always commit certain brushes to lacquer. We've talked about that in the past, but I always want to make sure that I don't have any kind of paint residue or anything in when I'm doing my lacquer, because I don't want that to bleed onto my wood, because the goal is to keep this beautiful wood au naturel for what I'm about to do on it. We do teach a lot of IOD classes here at Cottle & Gun, and I think sometimes you all get a little intimidated thinking, oh my gosh, we can't draw lemons like that. We can't draw flowers like that. Y'all, these are not flowers. You're not hand drawing this. I am not an artist by any means. Great with color, but I can't draw a stick figure. So what I like to teach you all is how to get the look, but with the products that we sell. And it's all very simple. It's no stress. I can teach anybody how to be creative, and so can Joanne, and so can Carol, and so can Heather. It's in every single one of us. We just have to pull it out of you. So, this might be a scrap piece of board you've got laying around the shed. It might be an old table that you have taken apart and just used the leaves on. Behind me, you can't see it. I took apart a hall tree the other day because it was not salvageable the way that it was, but it looks amazing as a bench, and now I'm going to do something with the hall tree. So I'm going to make sure I just get enough lacquer, but you don't want to overwork it. Okay, and I'm going to shoot the hairdryer on it because I don't want to keep y'all here all night. And my hairdryer ended up underneath my table. So let's get the hairdryer. Go grab a snack. Y'all can tell that I'm not putting the hairdryer right down on top of it. And I've got it on medium heat, not high heat. So I'm just drying it. You'll know when it's dry. You can definitely tell as it's drying. And honestly, ordinarily, you wouldn't get a hairdryer out, because if you're working at home, you're not gonna you're gonna be preparing something else. Now let me tell you, if you want to put a transfer over already finished dressers or whatnot, you don't need a lacquer usually, because the varnish that's on them or the poly that's on them is slick enough for these transfers to go on. So the only reason that I put lacquer on this one to start with is because it was raw, porous, very dry wood. So I want to provide that slick surface that my transfers are just going to slide onto. And you do want to make sure that your lacquer is definitely dry. Okay, we're about 90% there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the transfers while the rest of it is drying. Now, let me tell you something. You definitely cannot put a transfer over wax. So if the dresser you're working on has a wax finish, or if you decide you're going to wax everything and then put a transfer on it, you cannot do that. You cannot put the transfer over an oil-based product. So one other tip is when you're working with lacquer, I'm going to be here for probably 20 more minutes or so, and I want to wrap my brush because I do not want my lacquer to dry up in the brush, because once it dries, it's a goner. It's not like chalk paint. It won't come out. It's got hardening agents in it, and I do not want it to get hard. You can use shellac, but even clear shellac is ambering in color, so I don't like to change the natural look of the wood. So with the lacquer, it's non-yellowing, so it does not change the look of the wood at all. So you have to be careful, even with clear shellac, which we do use. It says clear, but it still has ambering agents in it, and it will change the color of the wood. So that's why I prefer the lacquer. So it's almost dry, so I'm just gonna set that aside for just a second, and we're gonna talk about the transfers. Now, we picked out transfers tonight. They come in these great big pads right here, okay? We've already emptied this one. We've already done everything we can do out of this one, almost. But this one in particular is called Flora Parensis. I don't know how to pronounce it. Paris, IENSIS. So we're just gonna call it Flora because that's what I call it. But it comes with 4 sheets in this pack, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can put them all together, or you can cut them apart. So I think a lot of times when you kind of look at the transfers, you're like, OMG, what am I gonna do with all this stuff? You don't have to keep them all together, folks. You can totally separate them, cut them up, use a leaf from this one and a flower from this one. And once you cut them up, don't ever get rid of any of it, because here's all my junk left from that, okay? You never know when I'm gonna do another piece and I need just one leaf, or I just need a stem, or I just need another little leaf, or a little group of flowers. We don't ever get rid of anything, because it's like, you don't want to throw this away. This is like gold when you're doing transfers, right? But these do go together. And so when we looked at this afternoon, my resident IOD expert, Joanne, helped me with this. I'm like, Joanne, go and find something for me to do tonight. Because really, a lot of people are intimidated by this, and it's so easy, you guys. It's so easy. So let me give just one more shot with the hair dryer to make sure that I'm really good and dry. This lacquer, by the way, it dries super fast. Even without the hair dryer, it's dry in like 20 minutes. All right, we're good. All that I did to prep this is I just wiped it down. That's it. I didn't even sand this board. Oops, I just put my hand in the side of the drip on the side. Y'all didn't tell me I had a drippy over there. I can't see that side. definitely don't want your lacquer to be wet or it's not going to transfer right. So let me see how I can do this. I'm just going to work sideways for a minute just so that y'all can see it. So, all right. So what we did is this is a section out of all 4 sheets of Flora. And what I want to really show you all is that the transfers come like this, okay? They have graph paper on them, which makes it super easy for lining up. And these are going to connect like a puzzle, like puzzle pieces. However, when I start putting these on here, I'm going to cut some of them off because, as I just mentioned, there is no waste. I don't want to waste anything. So if it's not going to fit, I'm going to go ahead and cut it off. So these little swirly things right here, they're not going to fit. So I'm just going to cut these off because I can save this for something else that I'm working on. And because they're too cute to just throw away. I don't want to throw any of this stuff away. So, you know, I might do a project in the future that I can use these little swirlies as like a header or, you know, put them on something else. So I want to go ahead and clip those off right now. And then you're going to see, I know I'm kind of sideways. Let me see if I can turn my table. And I'll work sideways so that y'all can see what I'm doing here. Is that better? It's kind of a big board, I know, to get into the picture. And I know it's going to be backwards for y'all. So let me get this stuff out of the way. Okay, so now what you're going to do is really cool. Is we're going to make sure that we want to get, I think we want to get Paris on there. So we want to get the P part on there, but we also want it to be kind of centered. We might not make all the Paris. Let's not do the Paris on there because I want it to kind of be centered on the board. So once I decide where I want it, I'm going to just remove the backer or the carrier paper. So this is the actual carrier paper that you're going to remove. And now this is the sticker part, okay? So once you, and I've got my fans on high because it's so flippin' hot in Georgia right now. So once you get it on there, don't press down yet, okay? We're not going to press down yet because we want to make sure that the way we want it is fitting how we want it. Okay, so once I connect it, let's move it over just ever so slightly. Oh, and another thing that can make this easier is I didn't do it. I can do it right now though. Is go ahead and trim this edge. So let's just go ahead and trim that. You don't need to worry because the paper doesn't have to be there because you can clearly see where the transfer is, okay? So we got rid of that. Let's go ahead and put it right back down where we started. And I want to make sure that that's still where I want it. Let's cut this side too. It's definitely easier to do this when you have the carrier paper on there. But we'll go ahead and do it this way because I got ahead of myself just a little bit. But you want to keep those little flowers right there. So I don't want to chop that off. So we'll just do that. You don't have to tape these down. You don't have to do any of that mess. They're sticky enough. They're going to stick right on here. Okay? But you definitely want to make sure you have the right one on there. Okay? All right. So we're going to commit right now. Make sure that it's straight. We're going to go ahead and commit. So once you commit, y'all, we're going to go ahead and get it on there. And we're going to rub on it. We're going to take the little stick that comes with the transfer. We're going to smooth it down really good. So this is like the first part of it going down, okay? There's going to be a little bit of overlap right here, so I think I'm just going to wrap the P and I'm going to wrap this little bud right over. So when you do that, you're literally just going to fold it down and you're going to fold it down so that you don't lose any of that. Okay, so I just took it off. So see, it's already off of there now. So see, I've just kind of overlapped it onto the side right there. And then what you do with the transfer is you just take this stick, gonna try to get really close to y'all so you can see me doing this. It doesn't really matter the orientation right now. I just want you to see how you do it. So then you literally are just gonna start moving the stick over the transfer, and this is what is going to allow the transfer to release from this sheet. Now, if you listen really closely, you can hear it releasing. Can you hear that kind of popping sound? I think you can hear it because I can hear it. And then what happens when it's coming off is it becomes opaque. So see how this is still nice and vibrant, and this section right here is opaque because that part is already released. Okay, so then we're gonna start doing it some more. Now, Joanne will tell you that she's not a master at this, but I love catching the wave. So what I mean by catching the wave is I like to catch air. So if you kind of pull your transfer up just a little bit and then you kind of stick it back down with just a little tiny bit of air under there, you can catch the wave and it'll just slide right off. It's like, I just got the whole bottom of this transfer to release just by catching the air. Whoop, there it went, it just released. So then, I'm gonna make sure. So now my whole bottom flower is completely released. See how it's releasing itself from the paper? Now, had we not put that lacquer on there, this would not have happened like this because the wood would have been so porous, and like I mentioned, the transfers love slick stuff. So you definitely want to put slick on top of this raw wood so that you don't have to worry. And I'm not applying much pressure, you guys. You don't want to like really like gouge the stick, because then you could, especially, this is raw wood, but especially if you have a painted surface, you could actually gouge the paint, and you don't want to do that. So I'm not applying much pressure. I'm just simply moving the stick back and forth over the sticker. And once it releases, I'll show you how you connect another one. We're almost there. Almost all off of there. One little more spot. Okay, so it's completely off now, okay? Now what I want y'all to do is you're gonna turn this over to the slick side, and you're gonna just rub it all over. This is kind of burnishing it. And if we happen to have any loosey-gooseys out there, then this will make sure that it sits everything down so that it won't lift or anything, okay? So we're gonna throw that one away. Now we're gonna connect this one. So you can connect them easily, and you can see where they're lining up, and the O at the top, you want to make sure that you get it, you know, on there just right. And once you commit, you commit. I'm going to rub it all on there. So that's our original making contact with the wood. Okay. Turn it back around so y'all can see me doing that. I hope y'all can see it okay. I need to get one of those, oh shoot. How in the world? Okay, y'all don't do this. I had a little piece under it. So I gently pulled it up because I can't have that under there. It must have picked that up when I trimmed it. So you definitely don't want that to happen. Crafting can get messy sometimes, y'all. It's not always a perfect science. And now looking at it, I could have pulled it over just slightly, but I think it's gonna be pretty centered on this board, so I didn't want it to go like too crazy. Sometimes when you're on this edge right here, I just released the transfer down here. I know y'all can't see it hardly, but it's hanging out right there. Just push it over with your hand, your finger. Just push it right over on the ledge there. But this is such an amazing way to get gorgeous art for your home, and you can just take, you know, old nothing and make art out of it. I mean, I got these beadboards, gosh, over a year ago, probably close to it at least. And I just was waiting for the perfect class to have with it, and so, you know, these were like gonna go to the dump, and I was like, no, I want those. So, and it's a really quick process, but you know, take your time, enjoy the process. You know, I'm kind of rushing through it because I know y'all's attention span isn't going to be forever tonight. So I'm kind of like rushing through it to get it done pretty quickly. But you know, just take it at your own pace and enjoy the creative process. You don't have to like you know, go crazy or anything, and do it really quick. Now, every once in a while when you're doing a transfer, you'll pull it up and you'll be like, uh-oh, a piece is missing. Or when you pull this up, you see a little, well, here's an example. Right there, I don't know if you can see it. I don't want to pull it too much. But when I lifted this up, there's one little spot of something right there. I'm just going to lay it back down and I'm going to just release it. It was part of a leaf. Okay, so now we pull, whoa! Oh dear, I missed an eye, you all. I totally missed the eye. So we push it back down and we fix it. I was a little abrupt in pulling that up. Okay, now we're good. So once again, we're gonna turn it over, and we're gonna burnish it. So we wanna make sure everything is down. Okay. Yeah, look how gorgeous this is looking over just regular wood. Like, this is like wood you can get from the shed, okay? So you don't have to have everything on painted furniture and painted things. I know you all are going to be amazed at this, but everything I do is not necessarily, you know, painted. I know that that's shocking, but it just isn't. Okay, so what I want to do on these two pieces, so I'm going to trim the top one because I'm going to go ahead and trim the bottom. So I want to see where these are going to connect. I'm going to connect up there. I almost put it on upside down. Sometimes you can barely tell which is the right way and what's the wrong way. Now, I have experienced if I don't like part of the transfer, you can sand them off as long as you don't like, you know, lacquer them and overcommit and, you know, do a whole bunch of stuff to them. So that's going to attach right there. It's like building a puzzle. Okay, so right now I can tell you that these little words right here are not going to fit. So I'm going to go ahead and take those off because I can use that on something else. So I don't want to not have this. So I'm going to put that in my little scraps pile over there. And I'm going to come back in here and see where they're going to connect once again to see where I need to pull these off. Okay, so because it's got the graph paper, I can go ahead and see that this is going to come right down to the second line. So I'm seriously just going to cut that off right there. I am not going to save that little tiny bit of a, I'm throwing everything on the floor, of that little stem because I won't ever use that for anything. Okay, so here's where we start kind of piecing the puzzles together. So this is where this sheet ended, right here, right? Well, as soon as I butt that stem up, look, the flower's gonna join, the leaf is gonna join, everything is like putting a puzzle piece together. So I'm gonna lay it down and make sure that I've got everything straight the way that I want it connecting. So right there, there's that leaf, there's that flower, and then we're just gonna go ahead and commit. We're gonna do our first initial, just getting it on there so that we know we're working with a really good tight surface. There is absolutely no reason you do not need to tape these. Once they've committed, they're not gonna shift. There's no reason to tape. I don't use tape for anything, y'all. I don't tape when I paint. I have a pretty steady hand, so unless it's like some major project, I very rarely use tape. It's just not necessary. Once again, I'm just gonna take it off here. I hope y'all can see what I'm doing. It's really not very exciting to show y'all how to do a transfer, but what I really wanted you to learn is that it's just not hard. It's super fun. You can get creative when you start building your transfers and everything. You can really get creative. I mean, I'm amazed every week in the classes how creative people are, and they come in not even ever having a paintbrush in their hand, and they leave with these amazing creations. This transfer set is 4 pages and it runs $28. And we made that great big window a few weeks ago with it. Now I'm making this and I still have pieces. So it's a very economical way. I mean, you can definitely not buy a piece of art for $28, by no means, for your house, or 2 to 3 pieces of art for that matter. So it's a great economical way to repurpose things. You know how I love to repurpose things. I'm gonna catch some air here. I don't want to keep you all here forever tonight. Once you catch that air, it like, phew, see? Just that fast, I release that transfer. Carefully lift it up. I see one little area that I didn't get off, one little leaf. Carefully lift it up. And that's the third piece of our puzzle. Flip it over, rub it on. Okay, and now our final little piece. Hey Dale, how are you? Oh, let's measure this one now. Okay, so that's gonna go right there. So once again, we're gonna pull 2 of the little quadrants off of here. And I'm not gonna save that little tiny stem. I save it all, but you're never gonna use that little tiny stem. Woo! Y'all, if you saw behind the scenes, I'm literally throwing everything on the ground. It's pretty comical. Once again, this is a really easy matchup. Do y'all see right there? We got half a leaf, half a leaf, half a leaf, and half a leaf. See it right there? And so we're literally just gonna match them up. It's really easy. Remember, these were on 4 sheets of the transfers. All right, and we're good. I threw my stick on the floor. I'm not the only one tired this week, right? The kids are exhausted. Maddie's going to bed as soon as she walks in the door lately. It's hilarious. And our baby kitty went to Dr. Clark today for the first time. Shout out to Laurel Animal Clinic here in St. Mary. Well, Kingsland. She's in Kingsland. But she's been my customer for years, and I finally, now we have a pet, and so now I've become her customer. I said, this is awesome. But our little baby kitty has a cold, so it's been a long time since I've had to give medicine and stuff to a pet. He did not like it, but I said, you're going to feel better. So I hope when he becomes a teenager, he can come and hang out in the shop. Right now, he's too much of a playful little kitty. He'd run right out the front door not knowing what he was doing. But he's so cute. Did y'all see me pull that up again? I'm trying to get it so y'all can see me catch the air. I literally just pull it up. See how I've pulled the plastic up? And I just kind of bend it down with a little tiny gap. And when I do that, the air goes and it releases the transfer really quickly. I call it catching the wave, but it's really catching the air. Only because I don't want y'all to get bored. Not that I'm just so entertaining, right? But we love the Iron Orchid Designs. I think 2 weeks ago that I mentioned about our Christmas crafting. Y'all, we only have 4 spots left. So we're having an all-day Christmas crafting on November the 5th. You'll be doing 4 projects, and the best part is you'll leave with over $100 worth of IOD products, which is awesome. We're gonna feed you lunch, snacks. We're gonna have some fun that day. So if you all wanna come and craft with us all day on November 5th, it is online now under workshops, and we have some other amazing workshops coming up in this month as well, and a bunch more in September. So we were a little light on the schedule in August because we've got some other events going on. Next Tuesday night, we have an author coming, and she is going to be reading from her Southern book, and we're going to be sampling Bloody Marys and some snacks. So that's going to be a fun event. And then make sure you mark your calendars for August 20th because we're having a big, huge warehouse sale. If I have not figured out where it's going, it's getting sold. Tomorrow marks my 1-year anniversary of buying this building, which is pretty cool. So I signed the closing papers on August 5th last year, and I've already been here for 1 year. I can't believe it. And I have made it my own for sure. So, all right. Oh my God, I love it. It is amazing, y'all. This looks gorgeous. Look at that, you guys. Isn't that amazing? I love it. I love it. So now I've got a dual sign. So for this, I could see it like totally just like kind of leaning against a wall on top of a dresser. And so you can totally like do this side and have it vertical. And then this side is my horizontal sign. So I love it too. I put Walk by Faith on here. I lead by faith, and during COVID, the very last movie I saw was I Still Believe, the Jeremy Camp story, and he has a song called Walk by Faith. And oh my gosh, you guys, this got me to buy this building a year ago because I just kept saying that I will walk by faith even when I cannot see. And so that is kind of my mantra, is that I walk by faith. And I'm still walking by faith 8.5 years later in this business. And it's tough times again right now we're going through, but I'm still walking by faith. So anyway, that is what we created tonight. That's Iron Orchid Designs transfer on top of just regular wood. That's what I wanted to teach you, is that it does not have to go on a painted surface. It can just go on wood. If you have a favorite wood dresser that you just want to embellish a drawer or two, or the insides of drawers, or anything that you want to do, maybe a mirror. You can start it out on the wood part of the mirror and then go on to the mirror just a little bit because this goes on glass. It's a great thing. So the last thing that we're going to do to our board is we're going to put one more coat of lacquer on top of it, and that's going to actually seal the transfer. So I'm just going to put that on top of it. Make sure y'all can see, not that it's, and it becomes even more vibrant when we put the lacquer on it. If you all have any questions, please let me know. If you watch this in the replay, let me know if you have any questions. Sometimes while I'm working, I will miss some of y'all's comments or questions that you might have. So I don't want you to think that I'm ignoring you. I'm just paying attention to what I'm doing, and I might not look up right at the time you ask a question. So don't want to overwork lacquer, as I mentioned in the beginning. Once you commit to it, you just have nice long strokes. You're not painting your fingernails, and that way you don't get too much or too little. Don't forget, if you did go over on the sides any, which I did on this leaf again right here, to go ahead and lacquer that too. I'm going to lacquer the whole side here just so that it's finished. And I'm just gonna let this dry naturally tonight because I'm done for the evening and I don't need to show y'all anything else. So I am gonna go and wash my lacquer brush right away because it will get hard as a rock, and then I'll make sure that I cover my lacquer up really good because it is a very hard top coat. Annie Sloan's lacquer is a water-based lacquer and it's non-yellowing. It has UV protectant in it. It's great for outdoor use. So I could even put this on my porch if I wanted to. So, but that's what we did tonight, guys. I think it turned out amazing. This is going to my house because I did the one side of the board with my Walk by Faith. But yeah, I love it. So thank you all so much for joining me. We are going to, especially now that Maddie's back in school, y'all, we're going to get really, really consistent in these videos. Every once in a while, I can't hop on here on a Thursday night, but I'm going to really try to be here every Thursday night. So I want to do what you want to learn. So if there are things that you still want to learn, or there are things that you are intimidated by, or there are things that you're like, hey, I really have this question, shoot me a message, and then I will start compiling a list of things that you all want to learn. You know that I feel that, you know, my knowledge is only as much as I can share it with you. So I love to share the things that I know and teach you. I love to do that. So I'm happy to share any tips or tricks or any of the things that I can with you all. So all of the IOD products, all of the Annie Sloan products, everything, of course, is on our website. I do own a shop, you all. So I do sell things here. So I don't do this all for fun. So if you need any of these products, you can always go online at cottlegun.com, or, of course, come and see me in the store. I do ship 6 days a week. So I always recommend that you go and see your local IOD stockist or your local Annie Sloan stockist and form that relationship with them. But if you don't have someone close to you, I'm more than happy to fill those shoes. So you can see the lacquer's already drying from the ceiling fans. But anyway, I'm gonna hop off here, and go get some rest. And I gotta go pick up a load of furniture tomorrow, as usual. And we'll see you soon. Joanne will be in the store tomorrow, 10 to 5, and I'll be in and out. So I'll talk to y'all later. Thank y'all so much for watching. Have a great night. Appreciate your support. Take care now. Bye-bye.